if you're a woman who longs to create a deeper connection with her body, and there is this part of you that just knows that the vessel that you live in holds much more than you've ever been taught to access, then please stay here with me in this episode because this episode means a lot to me. Today, I'm sharing something that became a turning point in my healing journey, something that changed the way I relate to my body, my emotions, and my life. And that something is feminine embodiment, not just another healing technique or not just another practice to check off, but a way of life. Before feminine embodiment, my life looked almost perfect from the outside, but internally, I could never relate to that perfection. There was always this lingering emptiness, a subtle ache, a sense that something was still missing. And believe me, I've explored everything. I spent so much money on learning about things, nervous system work, subconscious reprogramming, quantum healing, Akashic records. And yes, everything helped. All of it helped. Each layer brought me closer to myself. But still, this whisper inside of me always said, you haven't touched the deepest part of you yet. And looking back, I can see what was happening. I had become really good at doing things. I had become good at achieving and holding everything together, not just in my corporate career, but even in my healings. And I turned healing into a goal, a project to achieve, a race to run. And I was constantly measuring myself. Am I progressing fast enough? Am I doing the right thing? Am I keeping up? And then feminine embodiment found me, not as another tool, but as a true homecoming. So in today's video, I'm not here to guide you or teach you anything, but I'm here to share what happened when I stopped abandoning myself and start living from the truth of my body. So I'm sharing the story of how feminine embodiment changed my life. So let me take you back a little to a version of me that looked absolutely fine from the outside. And to some people, I looked like someone who was happily living her life, but no one really saw what my inner world looked like. I had a decent job and I took care of my physical and mental body by taking care of myself really well, by exercising, eating right, and meditating, etc. And I would dedicatedly invest in hiring mentors and teachers to grow spiritually because that's one of my most important values in life. And even though I was doing everything right, but inside I was really, really tired. I was disconnected and silently struggling. And honestly, I didn't even realize how disconnected I was. I had become so disconnected that I thought I was thriving, but actually I had forgotten to feel. I had become a master in staying at control, but I had no idea how to surrender. And this disconnection, it didn't just affect me emotionally, it affected my body, my health, my career, my relationships, my intuition. Yes, even after consciously taking care of myself, I was suffering in almost all areas of my life. And I'll be honest, I didn't even know that I was disconnected from the feminine aspect of me, even though I'm a woman, because never have I ever been taught what that truly meant. So, the first thing feminine embodiment did for me was that it taught me how to anchor myself back in the present moment. And before feminine embodiment, my mind used to be always focused either on the past or planning for the future. My mind would often drift, either replaying the old story continuously or obsessing about the future, what was to come next. But through embodiment, I realized that everything is in the present moment. And even when my mind wanted to wander or stay stuck, I could always bring it back in here and now into the present moment by simply focusing on my body. And once I started practicing this on a regular basis, I could release and process a lot that had been holding me back on a deeper level. You know, when you focus only in your mind, only on the mental level, everything feels so cluttered. You cannot tell whether you're consciously creating a new reality for yourself or just playing the old stories. But when you connect with the body, when you start to open yourself to listen to your body, then your body starts to reveal just the enough information for you to process. And this way, by focusing on my body, by working with my body, layer by layer, I started releasing everything I was holding on to. And this brings me to my next point, which is that through embodiment, I've been able to face my emotions effectively. In fact, I want to say this: I've come to master my emotions through embodiment only. You simply cannot function like a healthy individual, like a healthy human being, like a healthy woman if a part of you is silently drowning in unresolved emotions. Our emotions are messengers, they are not something to fear or avoid. And if you ask me, in my experience, the way I've experienced it, the whole process, our soul speaks to us through emotions. But to really hear them, you need your full presence. And when I stopped being afraid of my emotions, pushing them away or avoiding them, and started to surrender to the wisdom they carried, that's when I started to release old trauma stuck in my body. And I began to release the pain that was stuck in me, the pain that I experienced from my personal experiences in this life, and even the ancestral pain that I was carrying in myself. And through embodiment, I was able to release so much pain out of my system that had kept me stuck for years. In fact, I began using embodiment even in my Akashic Records healings. And for the first time, I experienced deeper layers getting released from my Akasha. I started releasing the trauma and pain, not just from my past lives, but even the generational trauma that was passed down through my lineage. Another profound shift that embodiment truly gave me was this deeper knowing of how my intuition works. In the past, I used to second guess my intuition. I used to second guess my inner voice. Was it fear? Was it desire? Was it just my mind playing tricks? But now, through embodiment, I finally know how the intuition feels in the body. How does an intuitive message, when you receive it in the body, how does it feel like? Intuition no longer is an abstract concept for me. It has become an embodied experience. Sometimes it's received like a subtle knowing. Sometimes it's a sensation in the body, a very strong one. Sometimes you see vision, sometimes you hear voice, and sometimes it can just be a wave of feeling. But once you have built this deep connection with your body, it's almost impossible to ignore it. Your body is your subconscious mind. It holds everything, every experience you've gone through, every emotion, every feeling, every thought. It's like a living encyclopedia of your life. And when you start listening to it, you realize that everything, every answer that you seek, it's there in you. It's inside of you. Every block, every fear, every limiting belief that you feel is holding you back, it's stored inside of you. But so is the wisdom, the guidance, and the transformation. Your body holds more wisdom than you have ever been taught to believe. It remembers everything. It carries your pain, your truth, and your magic. Feminine embodiment is not about becoming something new. It's about returning to the woman you've always been underneath all the pain, the noise, the conditioning, the pressure. It's a journey of homecoming, home to your softness, home to your strength, home to your truth. The more deeply you anchor in your body, the more powerfully you rise in your life. This path has transformed me inside out, truly, and it's now calling you. Maybe it's time to begin. And if you'd like to start your journey of feminine embodiment, then I have this beautiful free offering. It's called the Embodied Woman Starter Kit. In this kit, you will also receive a free audio practice, which you can start practicing every morning, and it's going to change your life. Trust me. And I will see you next time.